In studio, coming straight out of the beautiful village of Del Mar to deliver the timely truths on the real estate market. He's a CEO and broker, a seasoned trainer, and an award-winning expert. He's Mark Schwartz, and this is the Mark Schwartz Real Estate Show.
Good evening. This is Mark Schwartz, and you're listening to the Mark Schwartz Real Estate Radio Show. As always, Friday eves at 7 p.m., coming to you live and calling out the real estate industry, keeping people in check, and making you, the consumer, aware of what's happening in the market in San Diego these days. We are fortunate enough to have Gordon Levinson here from Levinson Law Group. Gordon has successfully represented more than 3,000 clients and appeared and submitted briefs in more than 30 county superior courts, 3 federal district trial courts, 3 state courts of appeal, and the state Supreme Court. He is an accomplished trial attorney, and he is dedicated to advancing the best interest of his clients. Gordon, how are you?
Hey, doing good, Mark.
Let me ask you a quick question, Gordon. Tell me a little bit about the Levinson Law Group.
Sure. We are a personal injury and wrongful death law firm. We're dedicated to the following core values. We sue drunk drivers. We sue texting drivers. We sue reckless drivers who cause harm on our roadways. My firm is dedicated to making this community safer by fighting back against drunk drivers, impaired drivers, texting drivers, distracted drivers, and just generally reckless drivers who cause harm on our roadways. Also, we are dedicated to making this a better community. We are firm believers in charitable giving and volunteer work, and through those efforts, we believe our presence is helpful in the community. And we're dedicated to making our clients' lives better by supporting them as they deal with these life-altering tragedies from their injuries through recovery to closure and ultimately to peace.
Outstanding. And I think you and I were talking about the community efforts and what you're doing to help community service. And it seems like everybody texts and drives. Everybody's on the phone. I mean, it's more like one after another. And I know that I've almost gotten accidents. You get frustrated. You don't want to be hypocritical. It's almost one of those things. I mean, when you say you go after the texter, you go after the guy that's, drinking and driving, these are people that have caused accidents.
That's right. And more times than not, an accident will be caused by a distracted driver. No one will know that because they won't admit it. But the reality is if you get hit, and there's no skid marks, but in the car that's hit you from behind, well, probably they're staring into a smartphone.
Sounds like something I see all the time. It's amazing when you see a police officer also texting and driving. It's like, can we pull that guy over? Is there anything we can do for ourselves when we see a cop out there, texting and driving on the phone? It's just like it's ridiculous. So tell me again, Gordon, like what makes Levinson Law Group different than other personal injury law firms?
Well, when a lot of people hear the term personal injury lawyer, there's a bias associated with that. They hear ambulance chaser. They hear opportunist. They think of late-night TV comedy skits and like the McDonald's case. Everyone has this issue that, a lady spills coffee in her lap and gets $1 million. Well,
yeah, I remember that one.
I got to tell you, that's not us. If anything, I'm an anti-ambulance chaser. My life's mission is to repurpose and recast the injury lawyer in the public's mind from an ambulance chaser to more of a community watchdog. My commitment is to making this a safer community by fighting back against reckless texting, drunk drivers who cause harm. Our firm stands for integrity. That's why so many of our past and current clients, lawyers, doctors, even judges and court staff refer us cases. Google us right now. Google Levinson Law Group and put in the word reviews and see what you get. And I know what you're going to get. That's why I want you to do that.
That's outstanding. Gordon and Levinson at Levinson Law Group. I mean, if you're a victim of a car accident or if you've been involved in a car accident impaired by reckless driving of any kind, we're talking about texting and driving, drinking and driving, on the telephone, Gordon is your man. Go to LevinsonLawGroup.com and contact Gordon immediately to get the money you deserve. So just getting back to Gordon, what you had said about differentiating yourself from like the ambulance chaser, it's amazing. That's so similar in the real estate industry because people's perception, and perception's everything, as you know, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so like that's why we're all wearing suits today. So the funny thing is that people think that real estate agents are like used car salesmen, and it's unfortunate. There's 17,000 real estate agents out there, and really only about 3,000 or 4,000 of them actually know what they're doing or have been educated or continue educating themselves on what's happening. So my question, though, Gordon, is why the emphasis on distracted driving?
Well, distracted driving is a deadly epidemic in this country, and it's getting worse every year. According to a survey performed by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration in Washington, the NHTSA, 3,328 people were killed by distracted drivers in 2012. Also in 2012, almost 500,000 people were injured by distracted drivers. And of course, we know that those numbers are probably twice that because of the fact that those surveys rely on self-reporting by the offenders in order to even clock those as distracted driving incidents. And the largest group of distracted driving accidents happens in the 15 to 19-year-old range. Teenagers who we all know, could use a couple of driving lessons or more experience. And then you arm that individual with a smartphone and say, now stare at your lap and try to drive down the street blindfolded. That's like a recipe for disaster. So that's a segment that I'm dedicated to fighting against, particularly because of the death, the mayhem, the harm that it causes in society.
Understood. And so, actually, what is distracted driving, and why is it getting worse in this country?
Sure. Distracted driving, the most commonly, thought of definition is driving while talking on a cell phone or driving while texting. But it may surprise you to learn that people are actually driving while sending and receiving emails, while browsing the internet. I mean, some people are buying books off of Amazon and things like that while they're driving. Distracted driving also includes a definition of being distracted by other passengers in the car, eating, drinking while driving, reading while driving, focusing on your GPS system, your navigational guidance system.
That's very difficult. You just brought up a good point. You got the GPS up, you're looking for your mileage, your kids are texting and driving, you're reading. It's like, do we not have enough time? I remember the old days, man, when I get a page, right, on your pager, and you
right.
can, pull over and use the payphone. What happened to those days? You mentioned 15 to 19. I've always said, if I can get a limousine to drive my kids from 16 to 18, and so they don't have to drive themselves and their friends and get distracted while doing it. I mean, it's the worst possible time. So anyway, continue. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that
No.
A good point.
And the other thing, look, some people get distracted while adjusting music, while tending to pets, dogs and cats.
Oh yeah,
in
imagine
the car.
the back, dog all over the place, trying to get them situated.
And to think that someone thinks it's a good idea to reach back and pat their dog on the head while driving, but it happens. And also putting on makeup. You often see people putting on makeup, steering the steering wheel with their knee.
Oh my God, I see that. Or their coffee spills, or the kids in the back. I mean, you turn your head for a second. I know you swerve a little to the right or a little left. Any way you look, you're going that. I shudder to think about the things that I've done in the past, not to, call myself out, but it absolutely is something that I hand my phone to my kids when I get in the car. They say they are trained not to text and drive, not to use the phone while driving. They pull it away from me. They get mad when I'm on it. Thank God,
Well, we pray that they're doing the right thing, and of course we all preach the benefits of driving while not distracted. But and of course most of us at one time or another, if you have to admit it, you might have sent a text while driving or received a text, and it's abysmal to think of the harm that potentially causes in society. And once you become aware of these statistics, hopefully they go down. I mean, one of the things you just asked me a minute ago is, why is distracted driving getting worse? And the answer is because people don't know how dangerous it is. I mean, think about this. The average text takes about 5 seconds. If you're driving a car at 55 miles an hour, in 5 seconds, you're going to travel the length of a football field.
Wow, I didn't even realize that, Hirsch. You know that 100 yards in 5 seconds.
So would you ever dream of driving 55 miles an hour for 100 yards blindfolded? Would you ever dream of doing that?
No.
So why would you think it's okay to do it while texting?
And you got people in front of you that are stopping and doing the same thing. They're texting and driving. And if you take your eyes off the road, it is absolutely ridiculous. And anytime I see cars pulling over behind or to the right or the left, it's just 100% of the time these guys are like looking at their phone, staring at their phone. They think that they can talk into their text, and that is actually different than texting and driving.
But look around. Next time you're behind the wheel or at a four-way stop, I mean, take a look at the cars to your left, to right, in front of you. I bet one of them will be staring into a cell phone. And texting and driving has now replaced drinking and driving as the leading cause of teen vehicular deaths. 20% of all teen vehicular deaths, according to the NHTSA, are due to texting and driving.
Wow, this is just unbelievable information. And so when we come back, we're going to talk a little more with Gordon from Levinson Law Group. I mean, if you're a victim of a car accident, you need to call Gordon. This guy is #1 in his field. Used to work for insurance companies, now taking that information and now supporting and representing people that have been injured in and by reckless driving. We'll talk about a little bit more about drunk driving and some of the things that Levinson Law Group does in the face of the overwhelming problem. This is your man. He is #1. He used to work for the insurance companies, and now he's working representing you and getting you those settlements you need to help you and your family. He's taken Levinson Law Group from a little-known local firm to a 5-star practice, and he's adored by his clients on Yelp and Avvo. He's recognized in North County as a top firm, and when you retain the Levinson Law Group to represent you after a vehicle collision, you're putting his years of experience and insurance industry insider information on your side, and like, how can that be wrong? So I just wanted to get back to you, Gordon, because what we had talked about is how distracted driving is getting worse in this country.
Well, people have no idea how dangerous it really is. And, the group out in Washington, the NHTSA, the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, has just conducted a massive survey and released its findings. And one of the things they learned in that survey is that 50% of drivers admitted in the survey that they answer incoming calls while driving. 25% of drivers admitted that they place calls while driving. And if you stop and think about that, there are 212 million licensed drivers in America. So at any given point, 106 million people are answering phone calls while they're driving, and 53 million people on the road are placing calls while they're driving.
That is, I hope you who are listening can understand how important it is to drive. Do not distract yourself. Don't text. Don't put your phone on. Put it in the trunk if you can't. Turn it off.
I mean, Bluetooth.
Yeah, I mean, we're all victims, or we're all hypocritical at times because of the things that are going on, man. But I must say, if you're a victim of a negligent driver, then you need to go out and be represented by Gordon Levinson at Levinson Law Group. I just wanted to ask you again, how is your firm part of the solution of the problem of distracted driving?
Well, we are the civil penalty for distracted driving and for drunk driving. And if you stop and think about it, if there were no consequences for impaired or distracted driving, what would deter the offenders from repeating their actions? So out in this world, you cause harm, you face consequences. We are the consequences.
I love it. So, like, again, I was going to ask you about drunk driving because we know you talked about texting while driving has taken over for drunk driving in the teen years, 15 through 19. But how prevalent is drunk driving in the cases that you're finding in San Diego? It seems like there's a lot of cops, a lot of these checkpoints that are going on, a lot of holidays. We're very, racetrack oriented, football stadium, baseball, an event oriented community. It seems like there's a lot of partying, drinking going on there. I mean, how hectic is it? What are you finding?
Well, unfortunately, drunk driving is also a deadly national epidemic that never seems to go away. According to Mothers Against Drunk Driving and the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, every 120 seconds, somebody will be injured in a drunk driving crash. Every day, 300,000 people drive drunk, yet less than 4,000 of those people will be arrested. So 50% of drivers killed in crashes tested positive for both drugs and alcohol.
That's an amazing
in their
statistic.
system.
The people that get killed themselves, let alone killing people. And how many people do you know that have been in accidents that, involved an impaired driver, drunk or on drugs?
Or drunk and on drugs.
Yeah, and then using the phone as well, right? It's a killer combination, no pun intended. It's absolutely ridiculous. And with Lyft and Uber and taxi cabs these days, so cheap, it's like a joke. Why even take that chance? And if you have been injured in an accident or involved in a collision based on an impaired driver, go to LevinsonLawGroup.com. That's LevinsonLawGroup.com. One more quick question. Where is the Levinson Law Group located?
We've got offices in Carlsbad and in Oceanside. But commonly, we represent people all over the state of California. With the internet and the phones, it's easy to maintain these semi-long distance relationships with our clients. But we like it best if you come in to our office face-to-face, at least for the first initial meeting. Then we can mix it up and have the relationship be over email and phone. But those are the offices. The office is up in North County, right at the main intersection, very near the main intersection of El Camino Real and Palomar Airport Road.
Sure, right in the mix there. Perfect. And easily accessible. So if you need to, obviously, go meet with Gordon at the Levinson Law Group. They welcome that. How does someone become a client, and what do you charge for your services?
The easiest way to get us is on the internet. You can just go to Google and put in Levinson Attorney Gordon or Levinson Law Group. And you probably get us. But specifically, the website, the URL is levinsonlawgroup.com. That's levinsonlawgroup.com. Or you can call our toll-free number, 1-866-643-HURT.
This stuff is just so good. I mean, just hearing about it is helpful, and hopefully you are out there not texting and driving and not drinking and driving and not on the phone while driving. And if you've been involved in an accident or you've been or a victim of an accident, then you got to call Gordon Levinson. Look him up at LevinsonLawGroup.com. Gordon, I just wanted to ask you, what kind of cases do you accept?
Well, we accept high-speed, high-impact vehicle collisions where somebody's been injured or possibly killed. We stay away from minor impact. If your neck's been stiffened and injured a little bit.
So you stay away from it, meaning those are cases that we aren't confident that our potential client is actually telling us the truth. Gotcha.
We like to see some objective verification of injury before we put our firm's name on a case, and so we want to see a broken rib, a broken clavicle. We like to represent people.
Got to see some action there.
It's about who you are and who I am. I'm not a phony, an ambulance chaser who just wants to cash in on a quick whiplash case. That's not what we're about. We feel that our role in society is to deter violent law breaking. We feel that if you're texting and driving and you cause an accident, there ought to be a penalty. So those are our clients. Our clients are people that have been injured in these high impact crashes, and that's what we're comfortable working with.
Well, if I had been involved in an accident and I come to you and we talk about retaining you as an attorney, what's it going to cost me?
Well, nothing for the initial consultation. That's free, and then we only charge a fee if we're successful. That's the contingent fee arrangement. So, the risk is entirely on us, the law firm, for investing our time and efforts into the project. For the client, there's no risk. And then we only charge a fee if we prevail, and we just charge the national, normal fee that everybody charges.
So if you don't win, you're not going to take on a case that you're not confident about. If you think that you don't have legs to stand on at that point, you're going to have to pass. But if you're taking on a job or you're retaining a client, then at that point you feel confident enough that you don't need to get paid until what is your actual percentage of deals that you get done, lawsuits that you bring in your client and you go and you try and push the insurance company or the violator, and what's your percentage of closing?
We have a 98% win rate, but of course we do because we pick the cases we need to work on and we want to work on, and we're not going to, if you were the guy texting and crashed into the side of somebody, well, you're not going to be our client. We're not going to take that case. But so I like
you got to qualify the situation.
Right.
And you go in knowing exactly what you're doing. And it's just the same in real estate. You're asking the questions. In mortgage, why are you buying? When do you need to be there? What's going to happen if you don't get there? Do you have a house you need to sell? Is this cash or are you financing? All the things that we need. You got to probe to, get to that point. And the last question before we go to break was, you had mentioned a lot of charity work. And so what are some of the charity things that you do? Or what things are you involved in? Is it something that I, as a realtor, can get involved in?
Well, okay. So I am a director on the board of the Levinson Foundation. This is a foundation set up by my grandfather, and I'm just blessed and fortunate to be in the position to be on the board. So, but I'm active and I volunteer my time with the board. And over the years, we've given millions of dollars to charity, including environment, civil rights, nonviolent solutions to social change. We've given numerous nonprofit grants to organizations that are doing just basic nonprofit work. We fight against homelessness, cancer research, schools, the arts, youth leadership development, and many, many other worthy causes. Just go to levinsonlawgroup.com and click on the Giving Back tab. Again, that's levinsonlawgroup.com. Click on Giving Back for more details about that.
Outstanding. And thank you very much for coming in and sharing that with us today, because this is huge. This is information that we need to know. It isn't anything that we didn't know, but these numbers are astounding. And I'm still thinking about that, a 5-second text. You're jamming down a football field. I mean, just imagine 100 yards of not looking while driving. Are you going to – I don't care if there was nobody on the road, man. How are you going to go ahead and survive that? It's like
unconscionable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, again, if you've been a victim or involved in a car accident, man, and you've been injured and you've got a real case, a legitimate situation, you got to talk to Gordon at levinsonlawgroup.com. That's levinsonlawgroup.com today. He's got a 98% positive closing ratio. He's going to go out there and he's going to get you the money you deserve, compensation for the things that are affecting your life, the work that you missed, and to help you and your family move forward from this terrible situation.